Tens of thousands of football fans came to Highbury. Electrifying!
Yes, guys, welcome back to the Cannon Podcast and a long-awaited scouted for Cristhian, however you say it, Mosquera, with my boy, George V, AFC. We were just talking about controlling step count on the Scout episode. We just did an hour looking at clips of Mosquera. Probably one of our most technical ones. Really interesting looking at his long switching, how he sort of differs passing-wise, centrally to out wide. We were looking at his defending quality. We were looking at his athletic quality, loads and loads of stuff. So if you want to go check out the clips, you can. And of course, you get access to all the other scouted as well. And yes, we'll do an SA1 soon. Yes, we need to do this one though first. We're here to talk about Cristhian Mosquera. I'm sure people have heard of the links and so on and so forth, but it's being reported by everyone, Fabrizio, etc., etc. He is 21 years old, born in Alicante, Spain, although he has is it Colombian background, and is a Spain U23 international, has played 2 full seasons for Valencia. We're looking to get the deal done. I think supposedly there's not much of an issue on the sort of the personal term side. It's just about agreeing a fee. I did see a rumor that we bid like 9 million euros, which if we get this guy for 9 million euros, I want Berta knighted because there's a real quality there. He's not the perfect player, and I want to give you the sort of the space to sort of talk about him as a general in headlines. He isn't perfect, but there is so much. I think the phrase you've used is like putty to work with. And I think watching him on the scout just then, there's a lot there to work with. So go check out the clips. But if you haven't seen Mosquera the first time, talk to us, George. What's he like?
So I think if you're looking for comparisons, I did this on X. Very Antonio Rudiger in quite a bit of what...
With the knees go up.
His frame's phenomenal. He's very wiry, like 6'2", 6'3" kind of player, very slim, really long legs, able to really dip in and use that frame to his advantage as far as, having a really large tackling radius. He can, really engage in a lot of different ways. Yes, it's super nerdy, but yes, the step count thing is important because he shows in his recovery, his stride is crazy big, like incredibly long. It's why he generates so much power and he's able to do so. But then when he's in his 1v1s, he's really able to tighten that up incredibly quickly, get his, feet shoulder width apart, making sure that his center of gravity is low. He gets nice and low, like he meets you eye level in terms of the duel. One thing that's really, again, super nerdy, his hip mobility is wild. Breaks that down because that's going to get clipped. He's just really agile, and his ability to change direction quickly is incredible. So it allows him not only to track players kind of at an elite level, but it does really allow him to change his power, and then he's got the power to generate it and like really accelerate. And he's very, very poppy. Like it's like shot out of a cannon in terms of the way like he likes to approach his duels. It's very proactive. So really top in that respect. There's some weaknesses, chief among them aerially. Like there's no hiding it. This is a really poor player aerially, and I'll go that far. I think that he's got a lot of really good things physically though. That mean I think that he can be coached, but right now it's genuinely a 2 out of 10. And I'll go that far.
We did laugh at a couple of clips.
Yes, it is slightly laughable, but okay, a big thing is because he loses the flight of the ball, so he can't really track it well. And one thing that you're going to notice with Mosquera, like quite consistently, is that it's not just making sure that he gets underneath the ball, but like any time the ball is not directly at him in his direct vicinity, and it's not directly in front of him. As soon as the picture changes, he loses his ability to track it and then get underneath it, but not just arrive, also carry the aggression to attack the situation. He's not able to do it very well. So there's going to be a lot of coaching that needs to be involved at that specific aspect. But in terms of his physical leap, it's great. Like when you isolate him, in box situations or even when the ball's directly in front of him, like he's got a very good leap. So there's no issues physically, no issues arriving to the ball, no issues like his aggression. Like it's amazing. It's very proactive. But yes, there is a little bit that I think he's avoided it so much. It's become a bad habit, and he genuinely avoids the duel. And this is probably a really important distinction to make. As far as his 1v1 capacities, he avoids the ball being the priority. He's controlling his environment, which means the player, the area around him is of utmost importance to him. And it's why he can win so many 1v1 duels and why he's brilliant at it. So even when he's beat, he's really calm and being able to have some really nice controlled aggression in when he uses his physical gifts. It's not completely head loss physical in that Rudiger sense. And there is a bit of the Ronald Araujo in him in terms of how he likes to defend, a very South American kind of defending style as opposed to Spanish. I think he's very physical, but he's also smart in the way that he's able to use his frame to get himself between the man and the ball. So all in all, really good. I think that there's some in possession things that we might need to tweak, as far as understanding his gait when he's pressed. It can lead to like a poor first touch, but his actual technique in the pass is actually really quite brilliant. And he does have this tendency to always want to hit central. But as we talked about on the Scouted, this could be a Valencia thing because it's so often that he passes centrally that you're almost questioning why. But nonetheless, he carries a lot of power in his switches. Really, really good willingness to use his left foot and really good willingness and brave rather to play an early ball. Very proactive in his pass selection.
Yes, I think, lots there. I think the only thing I'd add quickly is just to highlight one thing, which I think why can't I bring that up? Sorry, there it is. It's a highlight is to bring up as we bring up the data is I think what I'm really impressed by, and I said this at the top of the Scouted as well, is how quickly he gets into his sprint. I think that's the one thing that I really find really exciting about him. You see a lot of players with long stride lengths and capacity to do that, but okay. A lot of these players are athletic. A lot of these players are quick. A lot of these players have long stride length. What makes him different from anybody else? I think it's how quickly he gets into the sprint is really, really exciting for me physically. Having a look at his data here, I don't want to spend sort of too long on this because I want to get to the sort of the deal aspect of it. You can see again, as we sort of highlighted, strengths and weaknesses. You can see in terms of the passes received. Obviously, we have to caveat that this is for Valencia, who are about 12th in the league. This is after 35 90s played, and also at the age he is, he's 20. He's going to have flaws.
21.
He's literally going to have flaws. Or 21 now. You can see sort of qualities in terms of his pass completed and his pass efficiency and his tackle percentage and his other sort of qualities there. But then you can see the aerial numbers that are just at the moment currently really, really poor. So areas to work on and areas not to. We sort of spoke about this on the Scouted, right? Like this is the sort of player who comes in and day one is met with Marino and Saliba and Gabriel and Norgard and Havertz and has to get better in the air, has to straight away. And it's the sort of guy who, if he were to come in, you just say to him, look, mate, just don't, but if you're trying to read the flight of the ball in the Premier League, it's just not going to work for you. Give it a year, 2 years, 3 years, by which time he's 24, 25. And he's, and that's what happened with Gabriel, which I think is a really good comparison. Let's talk more sort of the deal aspects of things. So we're speaking on the day where Tomiyasu has, I'm going to say unfortunately, because it's really sad, and we'll come on to that in a second. It's unfortunate. It's in many senses, has unfortunately left the club, had his contract terminated. We were just talking off air, just quickly on that, and we'll sort of talk about more on the main pod. We've been calling for the club to be ruthless for many, many years. Mm-hmm. Could I do this? Would I want to have that conversation with Tomiyasu where I say, mate, I know, you've had some family bereavement and you've had time away from the team and we want to support you and we've given you a contract and stuff, but sorry, it's kind of, that's the end of the road for you. Could I do that conversation? No, but that doesn't mean it's not the right decision to make. And as sad as it is probably on balance from a cold business perspective, it is. And probably just to sort of move that onto Mosquera, that frames his conversation with, I think, a bit more involvement for him, which is good and good for him, obviously. Gives him a slightly bigger role, I would say, unless we do another big signing on that side, which I doubt. But it also, because we're removing that squad role, speaks to the versatility and the variety maybe we're expecting from Mosquera to cover into various positions, which is basically what Tomiyasu was doing. Before, we were sort of joking, weren't we? Like, before, if we'd done the Scouted last week, it would have been, why are we signing another defender? And if the news had broken this week, it would have been, oh, this is the Tomiyasu replacement. How do you fit this in the squad depth conversation? Do you think we need more still? I still look at that left-hand side and worry. But to me, this was always the Tomiyasu replacement, and let's see what he does. But now we're not having this let's see what he does part, basically, is how I see it.
Yeah, I just think that this is probably one of the first major decisions that I feel has Berta's fingerprints all over it. Because I think we've been faced with similar situations in the past, and Arsenal Football Club haven't been good about this. Like we've done things in the right way, and I'm not saying that it means that you have to go the completely other way in which you're completely poor in treating players. But this is really ruthless, mate. Like it really is. Like the situation is so sad. But I mean, we're not here to kumbaya. Like we are here to win, and so from a decision perspective, it's incredible. From a squad role and integration perspective, it's kind of like, this is just one of the holes that I think we've attacked the summer with, as saying that we needed. I don't think it negates the left back hole, and people are going to be like, what? We're losing 4 options there, ideally, in terms of 100% have lost Kieran Tierney and Nuno Tavares, but then also looking to move on Zinchenko. And if I'm looking at it in the cold light of day, we may have to Kivior in a different sense, because he's been very good. But can I offer him the minutes with this? I don't know. I mean, Mosquera walks in and has huge sample at left center back. It's not that he can't play that position. He can very, very easily. And, I think he'll primarily be a right center back. But he's not going to be the Saliba replacement in profile. It's going to be the Gabriel thing, but he will play primarily more on the right because he is right-footed. I think he opens up on his angles a little bit better on the right. But he is going to profile a bit more as the Gabriel complement, and Calafiori will profile a little bit more as the Saliba kind of profile similarity. But this is a guy that can play more as a wide center back right now, just in the way he defends, some of the weaknesses as well. So he's primarily better at that role. But I also think he has huge potential to develop into a central center back. It's because everything's head up with Mosquera. Like his passing, he sees the picture brilliantly. It's just some of the technical execution isn't there right now, but he will develop into an option as a central center back. But mate, like when you have a look at it as well, like we have a brilliant academy prospect coming up that's just really, really young, and in Marley Salmon, that I think the club
change his name.
I know
he's got to change his name.
But Marley Salmon's brilliant, like a phenomenal talent, and I don't know, like he's not being talked about as much, but he should be. But again, crazy young, 15. So like you're looking at Mosquera, and that's like a really good squad building sense. And mate, it's just sad. It's just sad in terms of the whole situation with Tommy, but just what this screams to me is huge ruthlessness, in terms of our ability to earn your minutes, And by the way, I use that phrase very specifically, like earn. Like, do we have a capability of paying $100K a week, no matter how brilliant of a person and a man you are? Like Mikel's spoken about this, and clearly the last contract extension, it was debated in the fan base. Like, should you? Like, we have known that Tommy has been poor availability wise for a while. It's not new. It's something that he had at Bologna, something that he continued to have at Arsenal. But the quality was so good, it made you like, he's such a brilliant person, and his quality is so good. Doesn't matter. And in terms of making that perfect squad player triangle that I talked about all the time, in terms of availability, in terms of quality, in terms of versatility, the man and being able to like actually be a depth piece, Tommy ticked most of the boxes. But just to finally say enough's enough. And it's what makes me feel it's a little bit more Berta in likelihood.
Yep.
Because we have been in this situation with Tommy literally last year. We gave him a contract. Now, it wasn't a huge contract, but nonetheless, it could have been debated in terms of whether or not you did. And yeah, I think it was incredibly ruthless. And Mosquera walks in, filling that positional need, really lightening the load and allowing our 2 right backs, who have been off the back of major surgery in back-to-back years, some freaking rest. Much needed squad hole. Yep. And so I'm really happy in that sense. Like you said, though, I don't think it negates. There's probably one more, as much as people are tired of this on the left. But still, there's a lot of really good things to see a core of Gabriel, Saliba, Calafiori, and Mosquera. Like that is insanity as far as quality depth. It's best in the world.
It's really, really good. I think just to clean up on the Tommy thing, I think we'll talk maybe more about him individually on the main pod, but just best of luck to him, and I hope it works out for him. But it speaks to a new era, which is what we've been asking for however long, and that's really, really exciting. That those things that sort of could go either way, they take the route that you would understand if they kept him on, because we're just being ruthless, and we're signing a replacement as well. We're not leaving ourselves short, which is is a sign of a ruthless sports organization, which we need to be in this environment. And it also makes me quite excited for the likes of Gabi Jesus. What's happening with you? Are you going to be sticking around? Can we sell you? Are we going to wait another till the end of the contract? And but Jesus is this. No. Sometimes we're just going to get that contract done and sort of move you on. I don't know, but it makes me slightly more optimistic about certain situations. And you look at and say, I feel like Arsenal will deal with it. Will deal with it ruthlessly. With Mosquera coming in, sort of close up on this because you sort of mentioned it there. We have a defensive group now of Saliba, Ben White, Gabriel, Timber, Kivior, Calafiori, Lewis Skelly, and then obviously Zinchenko as well is in there, plus Mosquera makes 9. I'm going to assume Zinchenko moves on, so I'm going to say that's 8. It's funny because you will get pelters for this, but I still feel we need something on the left. I do. And I think that may come with a Kivior sale, is my sense. Sure. My feeling right now, and I'd be curious what you think, and this is why I've been sort of maybe less optimistic about Hato is right now, is because of that. I think Zinchenko will go without necessarily needing to be replaced. And I think if we can get a really good fee for Kivior, that's when we move for a Hato. I'm going to leave Salmon out for now, just because
you have to. He's 15.
Going through my mind. Yeah, and for maybe if he was a forward, you'd be going next couple of years, but because he's a centre back, we're 5 years away. So yeah, I think that's basically the 8 I look at. In that 8, I mean, it's an incredible group, as you mentioned. It's absolutely, and it has absolutely everything. It also has players like Zinchenko and like Tomiyasu who've had their fitness issues, generally now out the group. Maybe Calafiori is the one you have a question mark over, but I think Ben White can be put down to the surgery, and he's just played so much football. Timber, look at what he's done. Generally, a lot of these players have kind of proved their fitness, right? So that's another aspect to the defenders. I still, though, look at that group, and just to remind people, Saliba, White, Gabriel, Timber, Kivior at the moment, Calafiori, Lewis Skelly, and Mosquera. I still feel in that defensive group we maybe miss something on the left, as I say, especially with Miles and the amount of maybe we're one short in the pivot ahead and where Miles goes. Do you share that? And where are you with that?
Yeah, 100%. I think it's all the fears are, how many deals can we do this summer? I think that's more the fear. It's not that I think, I look at Kivior and I say, this is the smartest time to move. I look at Mosquera's quality. I would prefer Mosquera to come in. And I don't think that you present the project to Mosquera at 21 years of age to leave Valencia, where he's legitimately playing every freaking game, 2 years on the bounce, where he's only missed 1 or 2 games, by the way. You don't present that and say, oh, your 5th choice after Kivior. You don't sell a prospect with that. I think it's a little bit more intense. I think it's a little bit more, no, you're first off the bench. And at times you'll play a lot of games as well. We look at you as a really crucial future piece, So I think the first conversation Mosquera's having, why do you want me? You of all teams, why? And the one thing I wanted to ask you quickly, though, do you think that this could, this is maybe one of the first things that we've seen that have a Berta USP, not just in the Tommy thing, but he's been really chasing Mosquera quite a bit, even as far as Atletico Madrid, right? This is a talent he's believed in quite a bit. Do you feel like this goes any way to addressing some of the concerns with the youth recruitment side? This idea that Arsenal can't or lack an ability to recruit talented youth prospects. I mean, we've beat Madrid, we've beat Leipzig.
Vintage George V. Here's my opinion as a question. I don't know. I mean, again, with Berta, I think we spoke maybe a month ago. about sort of assessing Berta, and I'm sort of beginning to be like, okay, you know, I think there's things we can actually definitively say, like, you know, for example, Berta, like in Tomiyasu at Atletico, I don't know specifically, but what I can say is he's part of a group that is beginning to do something, and therefore we can give him some aspects of it. I don't know how much goes to specifically Berta himself, but we will have to see. But regardless, I mean, whether it's James Ellis stepping up into a new technical director role, which we can discuss on the main pod and stuff, there's something is shifting here. Something really, really is shifting here in terms of targeting these sorts of players. I think if we got a Jarell Hato in, even a Benjamin Šeško, they're all those sort of 19, 20, 21-year-old type players who we're going, we bank on you for the future, which we haven't always done. But also there's a ruthlessness to what we're doing. So yeah, I'm really encouraged by the way we're moving. And I think the amount of deals we appear like we're trying to do is also a new approach as well. So yeah, it's certainly there is change. I think when that change is done, we can begin to go, yeah, that's definitely Bertie, you know what I mean? Okay, we'll finish there. Thank you all for being here. You can check out these clips on Y-Scout that we did on Patreon and on YouTube as well as a YouTube member, as a patron for our North Bank or our Director's Box. There's loads of other scouts, etc. on there. We'll do as many as we can over the summer. Thank you all for being here. Thanks so much for watching. Thank you, George.
Thank you, good sir.
And thanks for keeping it Arsenal.
Tens of thousands of football fans came to Highbury. This was one kind of queue the ladies thoroughly enjoyed. Electrifying. Inspiration.